So in today's class, we're going to finish the user interface. And after user interface, we are going to introduce you the data type. Data type is very important. It's a very important idea. So no matter what language you use, you will know, like in order to process a different type of data, or we store all these different data type in different ways. So we have to kind of categorize different type of data. Like we have integer type. So for all languages, you have integers, you have float. I mean, like you have real numbers. Integer, integers does not contain decimal points, right? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So integer, among all the high-level languages, they are the most accurate data type. Then we have real number, right? Now, in real life, we always handle real numbers, like the price of Apple, like $1.99, right? $1.99. Of the how much you pay for your TV, maybe like 330 something, right? So you always have decimal point in everyday life. So we call those real data. I mean, like real numbers, right? But in our programming, we call them either decimal or double. Okay, so here in our Visual Basic, we call them as decimal. So in the other languages, we call them either float or double. And we also have the character, and also we have string types. Okay, so for all the programming languages, we have different data type because we store those numbers differently. Okay, we store numbers differently. So that's why we can access them, or we process the numbers differently. That's why we have to save them in different way. Okay, and we can once you understand how we define our variables in different type in VB, in the future, if you no matter you learn VB or Java or Python, now it will help you understand the idea. Okay, define variables. Once you define variables, you can use this variable in your program, and we can use the assignment statement, which is also part of this section. I mean, this chapter. Okay, we can assign value from the right to left, like x equal to 5. Actually, all these ideas are from math. Okay, all these ideas, these logic ideas are from math. Okay, now even for this variable idea, we also borrow this idea from math. Now, in the future, if you want to learn programming or computer science, now you should have enough math background. So, if you want to learn computer science, you have to take a math every single semester. Okay, your math doesn't have to be excellent, but you need to have enough math background to help you understand the logic behind it. Like, what is a variable? We borrow the idea from the function. Okay, so, if you learn Math 134 or Math 101, we have linear functions where we have quadratic functions, right? We have fx equal to 3x plus 1. We have fx equal to x squared plus 2x plus 1. Something like that, the fx. So here, now in Visual Basic, we make this function. We also can write a block of statement and let them do one thing like fx equal to 3x plus 1. Now, instead of we call them a function, we call this as a procedure. So previously, once you finish lattice selection or the VR headset or even the previous calculator, our program always start with sub, sub, and finish with and sub. So whatever between those, they are procedures. So very similar idea as the function. And also the variables, like x. When your x value can change, like when you do your math problems, your question, the easiest question is like, suppose if I give you a function, and with different x value, you have to evaluate the certain fx value, right? For different x, you have different y. So same idea. So x value change. So this x is our variable. So keep in mind, in our programming language, no matter it's VB or Java or C++ or Python, the variable you define, value always can change. Okay, this time, or when you run this program, this time your x can be 1.99. Next time when you run the program, your value can be 2.99. like just like the gas price, you know, this last week was this 330, today is 339, etc. So the value can change. But you know, we have the variable, the regular variable, which value can change. We also can have a constant number. The constant number is like the value you cannot change. Okay, very popular constant number is pi. Okay, so no matter we learn, you know, whatever language you use, when you handle pi is equal to 3.1415 is fixed. So we can define a special variable as a constant number by putting const in front. When we define the constant number, then you know you cannot change the value. So no matter what language we write, VB, C, C++, Java, when you declare constant number, you have to provide the value right away. And once the value assigned to this constant number, you cannot change the value. Because you can think about the pi, right? It's not like today is 3.14, next time it can be like 3.24. No, it's not like that. So no matter, you know, which day you access pi, it's always 3.14159, right? So for constant numbers, so you have to declare the value right away, and also you cannot modify value. So for every high level language, we declare our constant numbers. We always need to declare certain constant numbers, and always, no matter what language you use, pi is one of the most popular constant number. Okay, because no matter what you do, it's always right. And also the day, the year, the number of days in the year, it's like 365. It's also a very constant number, right? So we handle the numbers which we can change value, which is variables. We also can handle numbers which we can never change values, which is called constant numbers. And also we can have assignment statement to assign the value, like x equal to 5, or x equal to 3 plus 1, or x equal to 2a plus 5, something like that. We can assign, we have this assignment value. If you see the equal sign, it's an assignment statement. You assign what's on the right to the left. Okay, so that is like the basic content of your chapter 4. So, you know, that will be the coding part. So let's finish this user interface. Okay. So last time we did, what do you say? This one. Okay. So this is a label. And for each label, we know we provide name with a LBL heading. Okay. And we have the text, you know. Basically, when you do the coding part, it's like you modify the properties. And here, this one we called LBL cost heading. And we have the what? We have this x time XX per day. So later on, what we will do is we are going to replace this x.xx to this constant number in the coding part. So later on, when you run the code, you're not going to see x.xx. So if you see if I see x.xx, that means something is wrong in your coding part. So I have to take points from you, because later on, when you run the code, it will not display as x.xx. It will display 9.95, which is a constant number. So anyway, we have this one. Now we're going to continue the next label. And we can make sure it's in the center, right? Center in the horizontal center, this one. The next part is we're going to have to add another label. So I'm going to close the output window to make it better looking. The next one will still be a label. We drag it here. As you can see here, it will be naming as a label 1. So we are going to modify the name. So instead of label 1, we are going to change the name first, right? We're going to go to the name. Name is always at the beginning. So instead of label 1, which is the system default name, we're going to change the name. We're going to name as a LBL number of days. and click enter. So, you know, all the labels name has to start with LBL. Now, you should not say it has to start. Now, even if your name doesn't start as LBL, it will not affect the whole coding, right? Just for user-friendly purpose. Now, we have to name each object from the toolbox with, you know, certain prefix. So if it's label, it's LBL. If it's button, it's BTM. So later on, when we try to name our variables, different type of variable, we also recommend you to have the different prefix. Keep in mind, those prefixes just, you know, for user-friendly purpose. Now, even if you don't change the name, if you make all label 1, label 2, label 3, your code works just fine, okay? But we don't want that. We want to have something as user-friendly. And also, when we do our case project, you have to add as many comments as possible, okay? Because if you want to have a 100 code, then you should have everything perfect, because what is 100? Perfect, right? Without comments, your code is not perfect. Like I said last time, now if I have graded your project before Wednesday, if I give you 100 already, that's fine. But if I haven't graded yours, then I'm looking for the comments part. Yes.
How descriptive is the comments up to date?
And as long as you have one. Okay, as long as you have one, as long as you can tell me, like, for example, each procedure, what is the purpose? So give me the comments at the beginning of the program, like put your name there, put your today's date, I mean, whatever date it is, and then put the name of file, that is the header, I mean, beginning of comments. Then for each procedure, you give me a comments, tell me what's this procedure do, and that's enough, okay? Because later on, when you learn other languages, probably your professor will require you to have comments, because and even though, you know, all this language part is very important, but making user-friendly coding is the most important part, okay? You know, the syntax or the syntax error to a logic error, this one we should avoid. Always, we have to concentrate on how to make user-friendly code, because you are writing code for someone else. Okay, always keep in mind, you are writing code for someone else to read and for someone else to maintain, because most likely you will not be the person who maintain your own code. Okay, so we want to make everybody's, you know, life easier. You know, like when we do the simple calculators, right? We didn't do the change name, right? We still use label 1, label 2, bottom 1, bottom 2. But actually, this works, but they are not very user-friendly. Okay, you get the idea. Even if you don't change the name, your code still works, but it's not very good. Okay. So after we change the name, we have the text. We go, you know, how we display, what we display on our user interface is charged by text. So we're gonna type number of rental days. Number of rental days. I'm gonna click enter so you see what I'm typing, number of rental days. Okay. Oh, you want to come here? Okay, you come down. I'm watching you. William, right? Right, sorry. If you want, you can sit here. Nobody's in here. We're not working on the Latin selection. The Latin selection is done already. Let's do the bike rental.
I don't think I know my name on the attendance.
So we have this. Now we're gonna using the font. We're gonna change the font. Okay, go to the font. Okay, double click. You see the font right here. So keep in mind, if you make your properties appear in the alphabetic order, it will be easier to access with the certain properties. Okay, so we're gonna change the font to Century Gothic. So I can type C the century Gothic. Okay. Okay, you can see when you access certain font, no matter it's here or your Word document, you can just type the first few letters of your font. It will be easy to find, it will be easier to find this certain font. So Century Gothic. And Hunter, what are you doing? Why your computer still black?
I don't have that font. Use a different one.
If you don't have this font, you can use different
I
one.
didn't have the other one either last week.
Seriously? Okay.
Yeah.
Can you use different one? You can regular, and you have 12, size 12. So you have a Century Gothic regular 12. So when you click enter, then you click OK, now your font should change. Okay, Century Gothic regular 12. Okay. So we have this number of rental days. So we're going to move it here. Later on, we can adjust again. So this is one of this. The next one, we are going to add a text box right behind it because we want user to input number of days. So we look for the text box and put it right behind. Okay, so this is text box. And we're going to change the name again. Okay, text box, you know, the text box name always start with TXT. So TXT. What is the name of that? Okay, number of days, number of days, number TXT number of days. Okay, so we change the name. Okay. Okay, the next one is we're gonna adjust the size because for this so actually in this chapter it tells you you need to you want to have the user type no more than 2 digits. Okay, and because number 8 is the widest digit, so if you want to make sure you have the enough space, so what you do is you type 88 in the text box. You type 88. Okay, first of all, you type 88 to adjust the size. Then later on, after you adjust, you get rid of the text. Okay, you type 88 because the letter or digit 8 is the widest digit. So if you want to adjust, make sure you can display 2 digits. People always use a number 8 or digit 8 to type. See right here, you have 8. And if you want, you can even type the, you know, make sure you have the right size and the font. Under the right size and font, like a Gothic, Century Gothic. Now, if I want to make it a Century Gothic regular 12, okay, I make it a regular 12 like this. Then I can, you know, I change the font to this, to exactly the same font and the same size as number of rental days. I make this text box font exactly same as number of rental days. Okay, then I type 88. So, you know, then after that, I will resize text box. Okay, keep in mind, why do we type 88? Because letter 8 or digit 8 is the widest digit. So you choose Century Gothic regular 12. Okay, then we can just resize it. Okay, so now you can see you can drag the text box. Now you can drag the text box to make sure you can display 2 digits because the number of rental days we want to do is like a no more than 2 digits. Okay, so you first of all, what I did was I add a text box. Now after we add text box, we change the text box name, which is a TXT number of days. Now after we change the number of days, we can type on the text area in the text property, we type 88. Now after we type 88, we change the font and size exactly same as number of rental days. Okay, now after we change this, so if you couldn't find a Century Gothic, so then you use whatever you use in the previous number of rental days. Okay, Now we have a Century Gothic and we have a regular and we have 12. After that, you see, I can drag my cursor, this arrow to make it big or small, but I just want to have 2 digits. So I make it like have this, so enough. Okay, so this box will contain no more than 2 digits. Okay, no more than 2 digits. So this is ready. Now, after you adjust the text box, so then you move back to the text property. So you can get rid of the 88 right now. You don't need anymore. Okay, you only need the 88 to help you adjust the width, because number 8 is the widest digit. See, you think about it, we have 10 different digits, right? From 0 to 9, 8 is the most widest one. So if this box can fit 8, then it will fit other numbers. Okay, so we can assign this. Okay, also the next one is we want to make it a center line the text. So we're gonna go to the properties, make sure whatever we type appear in the center. So you should have a property called text align. So this text align will charge us how do we display. Okay, right now it's on the left, so we can make it in the center. Okay, like it's like in a Word document. Align left, align center, align right. Okay, so we want to make it whatever we type appear in the center. Okay, so if you make the 88 still stay, you will see the difference. But anyway, you can see that later. So we have this. Now we are done with this text box. So we always use text box to receive data from users. Okay, we always use this text box to receive data. Now the next 2 will be 2 labels. One label is display like how much we should pay, and one label will display the result. Now we're gonna go to the label again. And another label. Okay, as you can see, it's called label 1 again. Now, once we add a new object from the toolbox, the first thing we do is we add. So we're gonna change the name. So we're gonna go to the top. The name is always at the beginning of the property, even if I make the property appear alphabetically. Okay, so always make your property appear alphabetically. It will make your life much easier. Okay, because all the property will display in the alphabetic order. For what we do in the VB, modify our property. By modifying our properties, we can make our user interface work in certain ways. Okay. So next thing we do is we add the label, and we're gonna change the name. The name we should do is label total cost. Okay, LBL for total label. Okay. LBL total label. Okay, so type around. What's the name? Oh, okay, finish it already, right? Okay, we have LBL total label, and we're gonna type the text. Okay, text will be total cost of make it bike rental. Okay, with a column. Click enter. So total cost of bike rental. So we have this. Now, after we change this, we have to make sure there's the same font and size as the previous labels, like Century Gothic, regular 12. So we're gonna have to make sure the font change. So Century Gothic regular 12. Okay, so the next few labels, we're gonna always use this font. Okay, Century Gothic regular 12, and you click OK. You have this, you drag it all the way here. So we have this label. Now we're gonna add another label to display the total result, total cost. So what we do is the price of day is certain, and after user type how many days he wants to stay, then you multiply these two numbers and display in this. So this one, the result is not a text box, it's a label, because we don't have to get any input from user. Okay, if you want to get input from user, you use text box. But if you don't want to use get any input from user, you just get a label. So we're gonna have another label here. Okay, so this is a label. First thing we do is we're gonna change the name. Instead of label 1, now the name will be LBL total cost. Okay, LBL total cost. Okay, now here, now we don't have to, we're gonna go to the font. The font will be exactly the same. Okay, Century Gothic regular 12. Okay, so you can see, so right now we have 3 labels and 1 text box. They all the same font. They all the same font. Okay, and when we after we change, all the same font, Century Gothic regular 12. Okay, so after we have modified the font, we can change the text. Now we're gonna type placeholder. We're gonna type a placeholder. This $8.88. So we can, type the number 8 here, because as you can see, 8 is the widest digit. So this is a kind of placeholder. This time is 888.88. So later on, when we run a code, we're gonna replace the value, because we can do label total cost dot property dot text equal to the price times the days. Okay, so it's an easy fix. But this is just a placeholder. Told us, okay, so we are going, this is the total cost. We're gonna display right here. Okay. After that, we're gonna add, so we have the labels text box ready. So we're gonna add 3 buttons. Okay, so once we've done that, it's time for us to add buttons. Button always has, drive the event, right? So if I click button, something will happen, right? So when we do the coding part, it's always focused on the button part. Double click button and you do the coding, right? It's event driven. What event driven? Click this button, something will happen. So we go to the button here. So we're gonna put 1 here. This is button 1. And if you want, you can have another one, button 2. Now we have button 3, right? So add 3 buttons, and we're gonna modify 1 by 1. Now we have button 1. We add button 1. Now we're gonna modify. We're gonna change the name, right? Change this font, and change the text, and also we're gonna change the background color, because if you look at the book, the background color is yellow, right? So we're gonna change. The first one is find cost. Okay, so we have we have clear and exit. So we're gonna have button cost. We're gonna change the name. The first one, instead of button 1, for the button, the prefix is BTN. BTN, button cost. Okay. And if you want, you can even change, go down to the text part, make it find cost, right, on the text part. So whatever you display on this user interface is always dot text part, dot text property, right? So we have this. And we can change the font style. Later, I'm going to change the font style. Let's do the one by one. So we have this one. We see the next one, button 2. The button 2, we're going to change the name. So we go to the name, double click. You have to change button 2, which will be BTN clear, button clear. So you know later on when we click that button, you just clear everything. But BTN clear. So we always use prefix in front of, you know, for each object name and for each variable name. Now we have the text part should be, instead of button 2, I want to have clear, right? Now later on, we're going to change the font and change the background color. So this is the second one. The next one, button 3. Button 3 is, oh, sorry, I should not double click. I'm going to close this one. Okay. So button 3 is, I'm going to have to change name to exit, right? BTN, sorry, BTN exit. BTN exit is always easy, right? You just need one sentence, one statement. Dot close. I think it's dot close, right? When you close out the window. So we have this one button exit. Okay, BTN exit. Then we have to change the text, which is exit. Okay, so we have this. Now, the next thing is we want to modify all 3 of them together, or modify their font together. So what we do is, now here comes the very important part. Now, actually not only for VB, but also for most of the softwares, I mean Microsoft software, or even like programs. If you use Excel, Access, or whatever, I mean even for the Word, if you want to provide certain format to more than one object, so what you can do is you can use Control key. So you click find cost, then you have to use 2 hands, hold your Control key, select the other 2. So by doing so, you mix them as a one group. It's not only for VB. When you learn Excel, Access, it's the same thing. The user by using Control key, you can combine several objects as one group, so you can do the format together. Okay. So we hold, and then we just go to the font. We can modify font all at the same time. Okay. Now we're gonna change the font style to bold. Okay, and the size to 11. It didn't tell us to change the font, so we are not going to change font. So font still stay this one, but we just change the style to bold and the size to 11. Okay. Still, you know, the font still be the default one, which is the Microsoft Sans Serif. Now, by doing so, we're gonna click OK, bold 11. So it is not only for VB again. So when you do the Excel, Access, or this Microsoft software, you can always use the Control key to kind of group multiple objects together and apply certain format to those multiple objects. Okay, by using Control key. So click OK, so that you can see here, we have the the font look like this. Of course, the size is too small, right? So we can change. Okay, we can drag the right cost. Okay, as you can see, oh, wait a second. Who is this? Christopher Lopez. Okay, so Christopher Lopez is right here, right? Oh, not here yet. Okay, what's wrong with this? Let me undo this. Christopher, why you are not in the class? Okay, we drag it and make it everybody display. Christopher, you should be in the classroom. So we have this, but we can change the size. We can change the find cost or find cost. Okay, so you can see when I drag the find cost, it the other bottom change. Right, so I can modify it a bit. Okay. So we change our size, make the bottom cost. Then we then we can even go to the format. We can make the same size on both, make sure they are the same size, right? And also we can make sure they center in the form horizontally. And we can even go to the horizontal spacing, make them equal, okay? By click horizontal spacing, because right now I'm still selecting these three objects. And if you accidentally unselect those, you just select again, click the find cost, hold Control key, select clear and exit. Then you can have all three objects select together. Okay, so we have those. So we can find this is like the size of other bottoms. So what I did was once we have this three as group, I click found format, makes the same size, make sure they are both, all the bottoms has the width and height both. And then I go to format, I go to center in form and the horizontal, make sure this appear in the center. And then I go to the format, I go to horizontal spacing and make them equal. So because you do know that we have three buttons, and among three buttons, we have two space, right? We have space between find cost and clear. We have a space between clear and exit. So by making the horizontal space make equal, so they are equally separated. Okay, so we have this part. We haven't changed the what do you say, the background yet. We go to next. Set the background to the back color button. So we have this button selected. We go to back color. Right here, back color. So we have, by default, it's white, right? We go to the web and we're going to choose gold. Choose gold. So it's become gold. Choose gold. So we have this back color. Okay. Then the next part is we want to set the find button as the accept button. Okay. So, when the user type these numbers here, okay, type the number of days to run back, we're going to have to calculate this. Right? We're going to have to make sure this is this one is enabled. So to do that, we have to go back to the form. Okay. So what we should do is we have to, okay, so by pressing now, to assign the function as first select the form. Okay, go back to here. Okay, I'm sorry, I should have. We have by selected form, and we have to go to the accept button property. There is a property called accept button. Right now it's none, so we can click this. As you can see, you have three choices, and we're gonna make button cost is the accept button. Okay, so the form we want to have certain button enable. Okay, so we do that right here, accept button. So this is we assign the accept buttons here. Okay, now we want to set the clear button as the cancel button. So we're gonna pause the same action. We're gonna click the clear button. Okay, still under the Windows form. Still under the Windows form, we're gonna have the cancel button property right here. Still under the form back. Okay, we choose bottom clear. Has a cancel button. Okay, so we're done with this part. Okay, next part we will just add image. Okay, next part we just add image to insert the bike image into the pick bike picture box. Okay, so we're gonna insert image. So click here, choose the pick bike. All right, so we're gonna have to insert image. So go to somewhere here called image. Right now it's none, right? Click the image. Then we can click import. And we're gonna choose our picture. Okay, let me find out my picture. Where is my picture? Okay. The picture I should have is in my, this picture is from your data file folder, right? So where's my picture? Should be right here. Okay. So the picture I have should be under my document, under my course, on the CSC 125, on the data file, on chapter 4, and you see the bike right here. So you choose this bike and click open. So you can have this. Okay, then you click OK to import it. But keep in mind, this picture is from the data file folder. So when you log into the Blackboard, and you see this link said like you download the data files, right? You download from there, and you import from the picture, and then click OK. So you have this image. Of course, it is not fixed. So we have to make sure we can stretch it. So go to the size mode. Normal instead of normal, we can choose stretch image. Okay, this is not the first time we use stretch image. Remember when we do the latte selection? So like a stretch image is like automatically adjust the size to this. Okay, so now my user interface is ready. This is my user interface. Okay, now we're gonna save it. Okay, because my user interface is ready. Now what I do is I'm going to do the coding part. So the coding part is always generated from the buttons. We have 3 buttons, so which means we're gonna have 3 subprogram or 3 procedures. Okay, so each button is corresponding to 1 procedure. So I double click find cost. So I will have this. So previously I have this part. I'm gonna delete whatever I have. So you should have something look like this. Okay. Okay. So first thing first, we're gonna add the comments. Okay, we're gonna add comments. So it's important to have comments. I'm gonna move my cursors in front of public and click enter. So by doing so, I have space to add comments. Okay. So we can have type the comments. By this choice free, right? We can type the comments program. And we type is what do we type? Beach bike rental.
I just lost like everything. It crashed and it didn't save. So I have to restart it from where we started. Awesome.
You should click save button.
I know. I went to click the save button and then the program crashed and I lost all my progress. So I have to restart it. So
I'm sorry.
it's fine.
But the good thing is if you repeat again, you will make everything, more familiar.
Yeah.
Let's think positively. So I'm sorry, but you still have time. So we have to add comments. The next one is author. You put your name here. You can put your name here. Or put the author name. Doesn't matter which one you put. If you want to put this author name, it's fine too. How is it? Then we have date, which is April 14, 20. 19. Okay. And I have today, I mean, the purpose of this code. The purpose of this code is this application calculates and displays the total. Then we go to the next one. Still need to come apostrophe. Total right here. Cost. Total cost of renting a bike for
I think you could send me that.
Specify number of days.
So make sure you sign the well, you have it. Fine.
Did you say that I have to get the space marked up on those?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Oh, you put it in, I put my cursor on the top of the public class, I put it in front of public class.
So you put it in
I
front.
think you can copy it this here.
Okay.
Or you can just leave it here.
Does that make any issues as far as?
No, no, don't worry, you can leave it here, doesn't matter. You know, it's just comments, you can put it anywhere you want. Well, okay. Still. Oh, I only have 40 students today.
Thank you.
Maybe the rest of people just celebrate Valentine's Day. Just I'm still in the mood of Super Bowl. But it's nothing to do with us, you know.
Well, our team, Giants, hasn't been in the Super Bowl for I think like 10 years, right? Once we see that, I have to show you some book content. Now, the next thing is we're gonna have to introduce you different data type. You know, in higher level language, we define or process different data type, different ways. Okay, so we have integers, we have. So you see here, my number 2 key broke, but all my password contains 2. That's a problem. Okay. I'll show you. This is a very important idea. Okay, because the next one is they ask you to type option strict on. What is option strict on? Okay, you might not know what is the meaning of this. In order to understand what is option strict on, we need to look at the different data type. Now, it is like I said, in all higher level languages, we always have different data type because in the memory or in the computer, we store them differently. Okay, and you know, deep inside of a computer, the computer only understand 1 zeros, right? 1 and zeros, on and off, because in our computer CPUs, there are different all semiconductor inside. The semiconductors only have 2 status: with current goes through and without current goes through. Okay, that is only 2 status the semiconductor know. Okay, that is a physical limitation because no matter how fancy, how high tech we are right now, right? Yeah, deep inside, they are all just because imagine they're switches. Okay, when we have current on, the light is on. When we have current on, light is off. So that is 1 and a 0, 1 and a 0.
So which means the computer only understand 1 and 0s, which is binaries. Okay, so later on, if you learn PC architecture, you will know how to convert the decimal system into the binary. If inside the computer, they only understand binaries. So we store the number differently. And you can see why do I say integer is always the accurate one? Okay, because integer is directly saved in the computer as a binary. So 0 as 0, 1 as 1, 2 as 0, 1, 3 as 1, 1, 4 as 1, 0. So integer is very accurate, but unfortunately, a lot of time in our real life, we're not handling real number. I mean, we're not handling the integers. We handle the real numbers, right? But with the decimal points, like a 1.35 or 1.25, etc., or 1.99, the price, right? Or you can see that if you buy bread or bagel, so it's like 2.919, something like that. But if we have the decimal number, a decimal point, okay, for the decimal in VB, we call them as decimal. But in the C, C++, Java, we call them float. Once you see decimal point, you know they store differently. Integer is just pure binary, can convert directly to the binary. But if we have decimal point, we are going to save the decimal numbers in 2 parts. Okay, one part we save as the decimal integer numbers. The other part is 10th exponent. So all the real numbers, all the decimal numbers can store, always should store in 2 parts, not just the pure directly to the binary. No, it's always 2 parts. The integer part times 10 to the power something. Okay, so it's always 2 parts. Because the storage different, we store the type differently. So that's why we said, okay, we have to process them differently. That's why we have different data type. So we have decimal type, we have integer type, we have string type, and we have character type. Okay, character is also very, very accurate because deep inside a character, they are just they are just integers, or they can say binaries. So character is always using characters only have 1 character, A, B, C, D. They are characters. But every time in our real lives, we always handle, several characters together, like your name, right? Your name, like Hunter, Gavin, or Tristan. Your name is not just 1 letter; it's multiple letters. So it's always a string. Okay. So in other, basically string are not really like a by default building type. Okay, string is always from the library. Okay, user defined. But anyway, we have different type. You're gonna understand. In high level languages, if we don't specify different type or whatever types, sometimes just they treat integer as real numbers, or they treat the real number as integers. So they can automatically switch. Okay, it's very common to automatically switch. Like sometimes if I define a variable as integer, but somehow I type 1.33 inside. But since you define as integer, if you type 1.33, the computer will automatically assign the integer part. So we assign 1 to this value. So it's always, the computer can automatically assign the value or convert values. Right? By putting option strict on, it will prevent this converting happen. Because during, a common case, a lot of times it will automatically convert. Computer will a program automatically convert type. So it's very common to convert a decimal number to integer. So all you do is you assign the integer part. Okay, you don't group it. You don't run it. Even if I have $1.99 apple, when I assign to an integer value, I do not run to 2. So in our programming word, we do not run. So we only keep the integer part. Okay. Sometimes it's just kind of truncation.
or sometimes you call them just cut off. Okay, so it is very common. Even if you assign a value which is not the proper type, the computer will not give you any error message. But in the end, when you do the calculation, you will see your result will be off a lot. Why is off a lot? Because you accidentally type the wrong data. Okay. Now, so it is very common to assign a non-integer value to an integer. Okay, just the truncation, cut down the decimal part. Now, even if it's 199 or 999, okay, you do not round up. You just cut down whatever behind decimal point. Okay, that is one thing. Okay, so it is very common. The computer will not give you any error message. You give you warning message. Okay, it will give you warning message, but no error message because by default, I'm gonna just change the just change type. Okay. Anyway, so we're gonna show you the different data types here. Okay, make sure it's right here. So we have quite a few data types. I am going to show you. Right here, as you can see here, we're gonna define our variables. First of all, we have different type. Okay, wait a second. Should be somewhere here. If you don't, then I'll just go back to here. Okay, somewhere. Okay, introduce the data entry. We have stored, the RAM stored differently. A variable can declare a variable. This variable, keep in mind, it's just like fx equal to 3x plus 1. This x is a variable. Now we want to define a variable. How do we define variable? Okay, this dim is a keyword. This dim means variable dimension, because for different data type, they use different bytes in our memory to store that. Hey, where's the form? Okay, so it should be somewhere in this book has a little table. Okay, right behind it should be. Okay, so you can see here, if I want to define a type, it's DIM, dimension. Then we have a name of that variable. If this variable is string, then we have to add a prefix str. str represents string. Then the variable name as is also keyword, as a string type. So when we do that, we assign this string number of dates as a string type. Okay, as a string type. And we have different data types. Okay, we're gonna see that in our page 168. So I'm gonna move on to my page 168. Now, first of all, you can see here, we have different data type. We have integer, we use 4 bytes, and the range of values from here to here. We have decimal, and we use 16 bytes. As you can see, different data type, they use different memory space. That is why when you declare variables, you use DIM, which is memory dimensions, variable dimensions, because they do require different memory space. Okay, for decimals, it's 16 bytes. I know it's up to 28 significant digit. 60 means like if you have 0 behind all the numbers, it's not significant, right? Whatever non-zero numbers. And double, as you can see, double is 8 bytes. So double is like not as accurate as decimal, but it's more accurate than integers. As I mentioned, the double decimal integers can convert to each other. Although it will not have a syntax error, but it will generate logic errors. Okay, because think about it, if you have 199, you assign 1.99 to an integer, you only have 1, so you lose 0.99. If I multiply 100, now instead of if you get 199, you only get 100. Then of course your result will be off a lot. So when you do the coding, not only you have to worry about the syntax error, but also you have to worry about the logic error. So this part is a logic error. If you accidentally type the wrong type to this variable, then you will cause logic error. Okay, it is hard to find which part you cause logic error, because syntax error is easy to find because it always give you a warning message, right? But for the logic error, sometimes it doesn't show you anything. And you can see next one, you can see this is an example. You can define integer as a variable dimension, and if it's integer variable name, we start with int as prefix, int number of days as integer, and int number of days equal to 4. Okay, that's another example of integers. Now, next part, we have decimal data type. Okay, DIM, dimension, DEC as a prefix, decimal total cost as decimals. So this is a decimal variable. Okay, so we have double, integer, and it's right here. See, if it's double, it's DBL. Okay, double is 8 byte. Okay, so double text rate equal to 0.0. So they have this double here. As you can see here, we do have other data types. We have character, just a single character, A, B, C, D, F, G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The digit is also a character. And then we have Boolean. This is also a common data type, because in the future, if you make decisions, okay, you always use a Boolean type, true or false. Okay, is today's weather sunny? You should say yes, right? Yes or no, just 1 and 0. So you can see here, the Boolean is also very accurate, because it's just like even though it occupies 2 bytes memory space, but it's just one single bit. Truth or false, 0 or 1, right? If it's 0, it's false. If it's 1, it's truth. Okay, so they have this different data type. Okay, we have integer, double, and we have some more accurate character type, as you can see here. If I define character type is dim CHR, prefix of character is CHR. CR top grade as character. This one is this. Okay. Single character. Okay. Now, so you can tells you we use a uniform word. Character. Okay. Unicode. We use Unicode. This is a careful character. Okay, and we have Boolean type. Dim Boolean type BLN, full-time student as Boolean, and it's truth. Okay, to this. Now, we also have some other type, okay, like a byte. If you can define a byte, if you don't need like the integers, you can use a byte, like just use 1 byte from 0 to 255, and we can have a date. If we declare a variable as a date type, it also use 8 byte, just the same size as a double. If we use a long is an integer. Okay, so byte, long, short, single. Single is not. Byte, long, short, they are part of integer. Okay, the regular integer is 4 byte. If I use just byte, it's 1 byte. If I use short, it's 2 byte. If I use long, it's 8 byte. Of course, the more byte you use, the more numbers you can represent. For each byte, it has 8 bits. Okay, so how many bits you have, then you can represent. If I use 8 bit, then I can represent to 2 to the power 8. Now, if I use 2 byte, which is 16 bit, then the maximum number I can represent will be 2 to the power 16. Now, if I use a regular int, then I will represent. I have 4 byte, which is 32 bit. That I can represent 2 to the power 32. Okay, so you get the idea. The more bytes you have, the more numbers you can represent. So byte, long, short, int, they're all integers. Okay, so they have different data type. Now the next part, okay, this one is on this form on page 173. Now give you the idea. So later on, if you want provide a name to your variable. Now, this is how you should name your variable. Now, if you have a string type, it's str. If you have integer, it's int. It's decimal, dec. I mean, prefix. Just like, you know, when you name a button, it's btn, right? When you name a label, it's lbl. Now here we have a prefix again. So those prefix is for user-friendly code. Even if you don't follow that, your code still work fine, but yours is not you know, very good coding. Okay, to make it user-friendly, keep in mind the difference between a regular programmer and an excellent program is programmer. How can you make an excellent programmer? Make a user-friendly code. Okay, once you can make user-friendly code, you become better than everybody else. Okay. So yeah, because you know you're writing code for someone else to read. So you can see here, they have different prefix. So when people see your prefix, the first 3 letters on your variable name or your toolbox object name, they know what is that. What is this? Okay, that is integer, int. What is this? DEC, that is the decimals. Okay, so figure 4-44 is very important. Okay, they do have some literal. Literal is like numbers, like as you can see here. Literal is like literally required by the assignment statement, not a variable. Like if I have fx equal to 3x plus 1, then 3x3 is a literal. Okay. Okay, so it's done a literal form, something like that. You can see here we have a numeric, no fractional part, 104. So this is some example of literal. Just like, you know, for most of the calculation, you do need you know, some literal there. Okay. Besides those, we have next part is a constant. Okay, so we have this standard literal form, numeric, no fraction part, numeric, no fraction part, too large for integer part. So next part, we have forced literal type. So sometimes you will see a single letter behind your number, okay, like S, I, D. What does this mean? This means it will force it to become a short type, okay? So literal type character, if I put S, it means this is a 40 as a short integer. Short integer is 2 bytes. Okay, they all store differently. They all occupy different memory space. That is why when you declare variables, you start with DIM, dimension, because the different data type require different memory space. So which is different variable dimensions. Okay, some of them 4 bytes, some of them 1 byte, some of them 2 bytes, some of them 16 bytes. Right? They store differently. Different data type help us store, you know, process different things. Okay. So you will see these single characters a lot behind a number, like 40s, that means 40 is a short integer. 76i, which means 76 is an integer. If I see D is decimal, keep in mind decimal is more accurate than double. Decimal is 16 byte. Double is only what? 8 byte. So double is R. So it tells you, okay, that is, even though we don't have decimal here, we don't have decimal point here, it's 8491, but it is a double. Okay, C is character, etc. So we have the forced literal type by using a single uppercase letter to kind of force it become some certain type. Okay, you're gonna see this a lot in the future. So when you see 40s, 78i, you don't have to be confused because it just means like, okay, this is an integer type or double type or decimal part. Now, besides this variable, okay, you know, keep in mind for this variable type, you know, we have 4 byte, 8 bytes, 12, 16 byte, right? So this value can change. So this time when I run this program, I can maybe my x equal to 5. Next time, my x can be 6. I do have, like I said, we do have some constant numbers. So here, most like, you know, most of the program have this constant involved. Constant means you cannot change the value. So once you declare a constant number, you have to assign value right away. and you cannot modify value. Okay, if you modify value behind of your code, and someone later to give you syntax error, because if you use CONST, that means it's constant. It cannot modify. Like this. See, CONST means this is a constant number, and when we have a constant number, we start with underline here. Okay, this is just suggestion, and with the C. Okay, so just kind of like if you have a constant number, how do we make sure it's constant number? Underline C, and a decimal price as decimal, and you provide the value right away, equal to 9.95 D. D is a decimal. Okay, so the following, as you can see, the following rules apply to the constant. Okay, the declaration of constant begin with letter constant CONST. Okay, so later on when you declare a constant variable in C++, it's also use CONST. CONST is short as constant. And also, no matter what language you use, you always need to assign the value right away if you declare a constant number like this. Decimal price per day as decimal 9.95. So you assign 9.95 right away, and you cannot modify anymore. So you see here, you cannot attempt to change the value of a constant anywhere in the program. Now, if you do, you will proceed a compile error, which is like a syntax error. So what is constant number? Which means it never change, right? Like the pi, okay? You know, you always use a pi when you declare, you know, sometimes you when you calculate the area, right? The area of the circle is pi r square, right? The pi, you know, is circumference is like a 2 pi r. So you use a pi all the time. The letter C often is placed before the constant name to identify through the name of the variable, which cannot be changed. Okay, so anyway, so this is the constant number here. Now let's start the class. I mean, like the coding part. We still have at least 23 minutes left. Okay, so we know we have different data type, right? And sometimes you can assign integer value to real numbers, or you can assign real numbers to integers. The program, the computer will automatically transfer. So sometimes we don't want this transfer happen. Sometimes we do not want the variable's value automatic change. So in order to prevent this happen, so that is why if you go to the code part, you're gonna type right behind this on the line 9, you're gonna have to type one thing. Option strict. So by doing so, it's kind of when you try to assign integer to a decimal, it's probably you will not like automatically convert. Okay, stop converting. By default, if I don't type option strict on, by default the option strict is off, which means it will allow you convert. Okay, convert from one to another. So you can easily convert from integer to decimal. Okay, it's very common because if you assign integer to a decimal, the computer just automatically adds 0. So you know, if I assign 1 to a decimal type, the computer would automatically type, you know, add 0.0. Okay. So you know, when you have integer to decimals, most likely you won't have any logic error later. But if you do the decimal to integers, you have errors. Yeah. So option strict on, just kind of like a stop is converting. So we have this line. Next part is we're gonna do the declaration. Declare the constant number. Okay. Right after this, we're gonna declare the constant number. Constant number we declared at the top of the file because we want all the subprogram can use this constant number, which is CONST. Constant. The underline C, we define name, DEC, decimal, price per day, as decimal equal to 9.95D. Okay, 9.95D. Okay, this underline character indicates that is okay, refer to multiple procedures. So later on, you have, when I see sub and sub, we call this as a procedure. So basically, the same as a function, which means whatever in between sub and under sub, I will perform some certain actions. Oh, that is this. Okay, we declare a constant number. So constant number we always declare at the beginning of, at the beginning of this form. So every sub program can access it. Sometimes I call sub program, sometimes I call the procedure. Same idea. Okay. Now in your C++, it will call function. In your Java, it will call method. Just like this part of code, what we'll do. Okay, what is the purpose of this part of code? Okay, so we finished this one. See, now next we're gonna add comments for our bottom cost. So we're gonna add comments right here. This comments, it tells you this event handler, button is always event handler, which means I click button, something happen. This event handler is executed when the user, when the user clicks the find cost button. Okay, it calculates and displays the cost of the bike rented, number of days times the cost per bike. Click save button. Make sure you save it. Now, next time when you come here, please be prepared. Now, you need to, if you use a laptop, bring your cable here. Now, if you don't want to bring your laptop, you can just have a USB drive. Now, either case, okay, just you're gonna follow me because I see some people still use their cell phone, some people doing your other stuff. Okay, so I don't understand what is going on in your guys. Maybe in the past 2 years, you just, yes.
I think you can have a problem with the options strict on and the double decimal.
What are you watching TV?
Behind it.
Crazy.
Behind it.
It's a shame the first half of the season was dedicated to just being a movie.
I guess it's fine. I thought that was zero.
Can't complain though.
It was really
We
good.
did get new content.
It was really good.
Imagine if it was all new content. It could have been like worse quality.
I saw you on Maya.
You watching AT?
I haven't, I got to. I used to be such a big fan of it. Everybody's telling me like, oh, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's ending.
Yeah. the final season part.
So guys, I don't mind if you don't follow me, but you're gonna have to do the work instead of either, you know, I saw you guys, some of you guys just look at your cell phone, some of you guys doing something else, which is absolutely not okay, okay? So next class, I don't want to see anybody use your cell phone. Put your cell phone away. Okay, next time if I see you use your cell phone, you put your cell phone right here. I'm not gonna touch your cell phone, just put it right here. Okay, just try to focus. Okay, this is a maybe class. You come here to study maybe instead of something else. Okay, maybe you stay in school, in home too long, and you turn off your web cameras for so long, so you don't know. You know, you think like your professor won't know what you're doing. Okay, that is absolutely not okay. Okay. You waste your time. Okay, I see a few people just waste your time. But it's absolutely not okay. If you even if you finish this beach bike, you can do the rest, the other project, and do the case study instead of wasting time. You're wasting your precious time for 2 hours for not doing anything. Okay. And you study for yourself, not for me. You come here to study for yourself. Okay. You're not supposed to use this time to do the burger selections. You're not supposed to come here just to do the idling. That is not okay. Okay. Maybe you guys stay home for too long. Okay, you think like you just turn off the webcam and I don't know what you're doing. Right now you are in the classroom, so I can see what you're doing. Okay, respect yourself and respect your teacher. When you're doing something else, you're not respecting yourself. The burger selection is a homework you're supposed to do at home. And you come here without enough prepare. You come here with like a bad computer. You come here with something else that is not okay. Okay. So next time, if I see you doing this again, I'm going to take points from you. Okay, so we're gonna we have the comments ready. So next time we're gonna just add declare variables. Okay. So here's the thing. Now in our programming languages, we can have multiple procedures or multiple methods. Now for each procedure and method, we can declare local variables. Okay, we can declare local variables. So whatever you declare between sub and sub is called the local variable for this procedure, which can only see a reference or use within this area. Okay, so that is the scope of this local variable. If we declare something at the beginning of the class, like this count numbers, then we call them as global. Okay, so global variables with like every procedure can use, but most likely we try to avoid declare any local global variable because that's not good habit. The only global variable we can declare is a count number. Okay, because when you declare this as a count number, you cannot modify. If you declare a variable right here, so sometimes in the future you will know. Some people feel like if you declare a variable at the beginning of the class, then you don't have to worry about like how to carry the values from one method to another, from one procedure to another. But somehow, if you declare a variable as a global variable, you will never know who modified this, because if you declare right here on the top of your program, every procedure can modify this. Okay, so it's very dangerous. It's not good habit. So we want to try to keep all those variables as local as possible. Okay, local means only be visible, only be accessed, only be used within the sub and sub. Okay, so you always want to declare variables as local variables. Okay, not only for this class, but also for other programming classes. You want to have your program, your variables as local as possible, because when you make it a global, it will be quite dangerous. So let's declare something that we can copy today. Okay, we're going to declare some variables like DIM. As you can see, when I type DIM, it becomes blue because this is a keyword. Okay, it is a keyword. Okay, then we type string
number of days. Okay, number of days. You know, for all the cases, for the, you know, for each chapter, we do the chapter project together. And for the case problems, I give you time to do some of the, you know, some cases in classroom, or most likely you do at home, right? You're not supposed to do your case project when I talk about this beach rental. As you know, last time I have a student do this. So this time, you guys are way behind of my beach rental. I already finished the user interface and you still didn't do the user interface. Yes, what question, Adam?
I was gonna ask it, like, when you're typing that, is it case sensitive? Like, if you accidentally put a lowercase?
Yeah, yes, the thing is, yes, it is a case sensitive, yes. When you, later on, you know, when you declare these variables, later on, when you try to run the like assignment statement or whatever, it will just have IntelliSense shows you, okay, you define this one already. So this one as, okay, you can see I can use IntelliSense to access. Define string number of days as string. Okay, now string, no, most likely is like a user. Now some other people use define it like a long time ago. They put it in the library to let you use. Okay, string. What is string? A bunch of characters put together, like your name. Most likely, you know, your name or like the room number or string number, even the zip code can be string type. So string type, even though it's not like a primitive type, but it's still very useful. Okay. So today we're gonna do this coding part. Next time we're gonna do maybe like spend 1 hour to do the coding part, another 40 minutes to let you do the case problem. Okay. So we have this, and we're gonna define the integer. Okay, so integer start with int, and then this integer is number of days. Okay, as integer. Okay, integers. The next one we're going to define as decimal total cost. Now, what is total cost? Total cost is always number of days times the price, right? So we're going to have to use, what do you say? Assignment statement, like decimal total cost equal to integer int number of days times decimal price per day, right? 9.95 times whatever you type. Okay, so we have this. So we declare those variables, okay? After that, we can do the calculation. Okay, we still have 7 minutes. Let's do that. So first of all, what is this number of the string number of days? So this one, okay, first of all, you know, whatever we get from the text box is a string type. So you know what? Maybe I should leave it like next class. But when we do that, we have to wait and we have to go back to the book and talk about the convert. Okay, we have to convert variables because we type numbers in front of in the text box. The type whatever we type in the text box in the, you know, what do you say right here? Wait a second, right here. Okay, so this text box, you know, name is text number of days, and whatever we type will be the dot text, right? This dot text is a string type. So what we have to think about is how can we convert from a string to an integer? Then I can do the calculation. Now, in order to convert from the string to the integer, we have to use this here, the default procedure of the function in our library, toInt 32. So it's like whatever behind this will automatically convert from string to integer. Let's say here, the room 8175. 8175 is a number, is a string. But if I do want to do the calculations, string cannot combine, string cannot add together, string cannot multiply. The only integers can multiply and add, right? So what we should do is we have to use this existing function in our memory, in our library, to convert it to our integer. So we have to use 2int 32. Okay, this normal procedure. Convert whatever behind it here. This in the parenthesis is argument, like fx equal to 3x plus 5. So this fx, that is the one parenthesis, that is the argument. Okay, so the name of procedure is 2int 32. The argument is this, which is a string variable that contains the value to be converted to the integer type, 2int 32 procedure. Okay, so that is one thing we have to see. So we're gonna have to use this inside of the convert classroom, which is in the library convert class. We call 2int 32. So we can convert from a string type to an integer type. So keep in mind, all the data we get from our text box are string type. Text box.txt property, that's strings. So we have to call this convert.toInt 32 to convert to the integer. So let's type the last two sentences of today's class, and we're gonna talk today. So go back to the title, go back to here. Now we're gonna type string number of days equal to, that is the text box number of days dot text property. Okay, then we have to convert it to an integer. So int number of days. Okay, we use IntelliSense. So it equal to convert dot to int 32-bit integer. Okay, to int 32 is 32-bit integer. It's like a regular integer, 4-byte integer. str number of days. Okay, so we're done with this part. So you can see once I use inside of my assignment statement, the green underline is gone. So the green curly underline just tell you, have you used it inside of your program yet? If so, I take it off. So I have used this too. So you see the green curly line is off. So the only thing we do is we're gonna do this one next class. Okay, so for our next class, the first 1 hour, we're gonna continue the coding part. Then we're gonna use like 40 minutes to let it do the case problem. The lattice selection and burger selection will be due this Saturday. Okay, so if you, like I said, if you do the project 4, 5, or 6, I'll give you extra 10 points because you do have multiple pictures involved. Okay, so let's save it. I will call for today. Yes.
My computer is saying that the string of number and date is not declared. So that's 2 integers there.
You declare the right here on the line 14. So you declare right here string number of days. But it needs view. Yes, this one is yes. You can see the green underline will work. Don't worry, we're gonna finish it for next time.
And so I think because I put the buttons in a different order, so I put it, I see it's under button called click, so mine's on 18, not 14.
Okay, you can have this part. You can get rid of the part if you want. Get rid of. You can delete. You highlight from line 6, line 10 to line 17. Highlight those. Yeah, highlight from 10 to 17. Yeah, highlight. Yeah, just delete. Yes. Delete. That's gone.
Oh, good. Okay. Then I need to download them.
Yes. No, you don't have to.
I needed this.